Hello, world. So there's some few emergency updates I just want to talk about. This week is going to be a little bit chaotic for me, so I might not have videos later this week. But let's talk about what's happened so far. Last week was super, super explosive. Quick recap, everything about the new moon cycle, which was on the 21st, played out where we had a dump. Usually a new moon means a dump. At the 23rd, we had a dump. And then on the 29th, for the daily cycle low, Mara bottomed out and then it took off along with Bitcoin. We had an explosive week. Bitcoin made a crazy move from that, I think it was the $107,000 level to right now, we're almost approaching $124,000. Now, the reason why I have a clock next to Bitcoin is because I was really hoping and expecting Bitcoin to retest the 200 daily moving average. Bitcoin did not do that. I was a little bit surprised. That was the $103,000 level. That being said, the explosive move we've had this week ending for Bitcoin is exciting, but at the same time, it is concerning because I wonder if it will still come down to retest the 200 daily moving average like Mara and some of these other stocks had done. Now, this coming week, we have a full moon cycle. There's new moons and there's full moon. New moon usually means a dump. Full moon usually means a pump. If you want to understand these concepts, you can watch some of my previous videos where I first talked about this. Now, the full moon cycle is on October the 6th, which is a Monday. So this coming Monday is actually the full moon. Funny enough, the pump started early. So Bitcoin is already pumping into the full moon cycle being October the 6th. In previous videos, I stated how I didn't think Bitcoin could try to top out really early in October, but the move has been so explosive. I'm actually starting to question myself in terms of my first scenario, which I'll talk about shortly, where I said, Bitcoin could top out early October. I didn't think that was a likely scenario, but now I got to keep an eye close on this to see where we go. So to show you what I mean here, let's quickly look at the charts. First of all, if you remember my previous videos where I talked about predicting the Bitcoin cycle top date, I had October 8th as a prediction. October 8th being Wednesday, I thought this was going to be too early because at the time when I made the video in September, Bitcoin was way lower than, 120,000 plus. But in a few days, like I said, Bitcoin is always full of surprises. Yet again, we were surprised and it's about to retest the all-time high. Now, this is what I mean. This level here has a huge resistance. If you see, we're trying to retest the all-time high. We hit this level back in, July? So July 14th, we hit this level here. We hit it again August 14th. And now we're about to retest this same level again. So this is a huge resistance level. And what's making me really nervous about this level is the fact that I'm hoping this is not a triple top and the Bitcoin cycle is over. And the reason why I say that is because this is one approaching the full moon cycle, and then it's also approaching the approximate dates for my scenario one, where I said Bitcoin could top out, even though I think it's an unlikely scenario. So we got to keep an eye on this. Bitcoin really needs to prove itself and go over this $124,000 level for the pump to continue. So I don't know what's going to happen here. We'll keep an eye. But I really wanted to call this out, my logic behind why this level is making me nervous right now, okay? So that being said, Bitcoin held 107K. We did not retest the 200, and we have an explosive move all the way to close to $124,000. Now let's do a quick a quick recap of the scenarios. So scenario one, I had an approximate date of October 8th to the 12th. I said this scenario was highly unlikely, but as we've all seen, Bitcoin is quickly shattering numbers right now. October 8th to 12th is still a few days away, so a lot could happen. And it would be interesting to see if this ends up being the top or maybe some type of local top before we go higher again. Now, scenario two, this is the scenario that I think is most likely. This one is in late October into November timeframe. And then scenario three, again, just means I'm open-minded to, which is the fact that we topped out in August. I just showed you on the chart that 124 level, we're hitting a third time again. So if that doesn't hold, to me, that's a triple top and we're going down. So either that or we have an extended cycle or a super cycle. So we'll come back to these scenarios as the days and upcoming weeks pass us by, and we'll revisit this to see which one actually plays out. Now, the other 7 signals, we have signals 2 to 7. Like I said in previous videos, I'm trying to play this as a game, and I'll reveal each signal as I'm seeing them starting to flash. There's 2 signals out of this list that is starting to flash now. So I wanted to reveal those 2 signals. So before I reveal the 2 signals, there was an article that I ran into, which was published last month. This article was talking about how there's some ETF approvals that are currently in play. And what caught my eye about this article is the date of when these ETFs will be approved. And the date, it didn't give an exact day, but it gave a month. As you can see here, it says October 2025. Again, this caught my attention because I keep saying so many things are lining up to an October top for where Bitcoin will top out. Okay. I don't know if it will be October, if it will be November or December, but just using predictive patterns and data analysis of trying to predict where the top will be, there's too many things lining up with October that's spooking me out, thinking we will top out this month. Okay. So I'll put links in the description to these articles. That being said, let's reveal the signals. So signal number 2 is extreme euphoria. I believe we're starting to see a little bit of the euphoria stage. I don't think it's in the extreme stage quite yet, but definitely with the move Bitcoin made in a matter of days to $124,000, that is big time euphoria that is starting to kick in. So I think it was fair enough to reveal this signal. So that's signal number 2. Now, signal number 7, which I had, was some type of ETF announcements. There was actually 2 items I had listed there. So really the second half, which is the ETF announcement, seems to be what's playing out. Now, the ETFs have not been approved. Okay, so let me make that clear. But just the fact that the announcement was made that the ETFs might be approved in October, I think it's fair to also open up this signal, which I had written down. So we have 2 new signals now that are popping up. So these are a total of 3 out of 7 signals that we currently have. It will be interesting to see how this continues to play out. Like I said, these are signs that I've seen in the past. So I'm trying to put all these points together to see if we could use this again to predict the Bitcoin cycle top. So we'll see how this week goes. I probably wouldn't have any videos till end of the next upcoming week. So watch out for price action, and I'll be back next weekend.